Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where you might notice things are slightly different from where they were last time. I had some technical issues to do with game crashing and save game corruption, and this was the latest backed up save game that I was able to get to. I did have to essentially redo the last episode off camera, so I redocked up this guy and this guy. And I think I was a little bit more efficient this time. I'm not 100% on that, but what we're going to do is we're going to proceed as if I was. Now, I did already fill most of these tanks. Not all of them, but most of them. As you can see here, these two tanks... we need this one still. These two tanks here, we didn't get fully filled. That was all of the fuel we had on the station. But... we have brought in our Rockamax Jumbo 64 fuel tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill these up with this tanker. And this tanker is, of course, destined to become part of our Minmus mining operation, which is going to have a pretty substantial different look to it, I've decided. It's going to be fairly different from this orbital refinery system that we've got going on. So that should be interesting, but first we need to get this online. So let's just go ahead and get this filled in. I'm going to go ahead and time warp as we fill that up. Perfect. And we no longer need this. This is all now completely full. I do want to refresh our monoprop here. So let's just go ahead and move a little bit of monoprop in here. We've got tons of monoprop on the station. No issue there whatsoever. And then I'm going to flow all of the fuel out of this tank into this tank, like so. And we'll just fill this on up. Perfect. And then we're going to fill up this tank here. So we'll go ahead and bring this fuel in, and this will be the fuel that we will start our Minmus base with. There will be much, much more fuel. So that should be completely okay. Now we need to do two things this episode is what I have planned. So, with our fuel shifting around finished, we are first going to go ahead and undock this guy over here. There we go. We'll switch over to him. And we will get ourselves a little bit of distance with our monoprop. There we go. And we are going to find ourselves a nice place to set down. I would like to set down maybe somewhere over in this vicinity here. Yeah, that should be reasonably okay. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to turn RCS off. We're going to hop over to orbital retrograde here. And this is going to be at T-minus 6 seconds that we're going to make this burn. So goodbye, station. We are going to be getting some distance from you. And we're going to continue warping ahead here to T-minus 6 seconds. Something along the lines of this, and then we're going to burn this right now. Excellent. And because we're landing, we may as well deploy our landing legs while I'm thinking about it, before I forget. Excellent. And at this point, we'll switch over into surface mode. So we need 458.3 meters per second here, huh? Okay, well, how long is it going to take us to actually burn 458.4? Sure. Let's see here. 458.4 is going to be 1 minute and 47 seconds. Okay, sounds good. So we're going to want to burn this at about that 1 minute 47 second marker, but a little bit later, or rather earlier than that. So let's just go ahead and warp forward to, let's see here, our impact time is currently 9 minutes. Let's go ahead and warp forward about 6 minutes. Excellent. And our suicide burn countdown here is giving us another 4 minutes, but this is not actually accurate when we have this much horizontal speed. You can see here our impact time is shorter than that. So I'm going to burn this at an impact time of about 2 minutes and... actually, suicide burn length is saying 2 minutes 47, so we may want to burn this right now. Let's give this a go. Hopefully, I'm not burning this too late. That's definitely going to be interesting to find out if I am or not, but we're just going to burn off mostly our horizontal speed for right now. We can see here that our impact time is still coming down. That's not necessarily a great sign. Our thrust to weight, of course, should be increasing, and indeed it is. That's good. Our time to impact is still coming on down. However, we are slowing down more and more, so that's great. And let's just see if I've overshot this by too much. I may have. The suicide burn countdown's kind of freaking out right now. That's fairly expected, I suppose. Yeah, it's really freaking out right now. You can see here our impact time is slowing down, though. That's a fantastic sign for us. That is an absolutely wonderful sign for us because we are continuing to burn off speed here. We are currently about 11 kilometers above the surface, and where's our current impact location going to be? Inside that crater, that's probably okay. I believe that's this crater here. Yeah, that should be this crater. It should be okay. We should be completely fine because we've moved our leg location. So we can see here that our suicide burn countdown is actually going up right now. That is fantastic to see. I'm really happy about that. And our impact time is going up now too. So we're actually completely fine. We're going to go ahead and warp forward until our suicide burn countdown is a little bit lower. We're coming in kind of at a bit of an angle, it looks like, but that is reasonably okay, I think. Yeah, I was hoping to not hit this crater, but we should be fine since we can use our landing legs without any issues. Pretty soon I'm going to be ignoring the suicide burn timer over here. Yeah, that's coming in basically right at the lip. I don't necessarily like that. We might try to target like over here instead. In fact, I believe I'm going to do exactly that. Let's just push this out over this way a little bit, go into stability assist. And yeah, you can see here our landing marker. This is a better landing location, but it's not ideal yet. We're just kind of going along here. There. I like that spot. Or I kind of like that spot anyway. I like it better. We'll put it that way. So our suicide burn countdown is going to be in about 15 seconds here. That's completely fine. We're just coming on in a little closer here. And it's going to be in about 2 seconds. There we go. And at this point, I'm going to ignore this, and we are just going to come in the old-fashioned way. I'm completely comfortable with this as our landing site, or I'm mostly comfortable with this as our landing site anyway. It looks like we're coming up this hill a little bit, but that's probably okay. Yeah, this is looking pretty good here. Now, we're still 500 meters up here, so let's let ourselves fall down a bit. I'm actually going to go by the suicide burn countdown here, but I'm reasonably happy with this location. And we will begin our burn right about now. And from here on out, I am completely ignoring the suicide burn countdown. And we're going to come in something along the lines of this. I'm going to let us accelerate a little bit here. We're still 100 meters up. Now we're 80 meters up. And we're going to start decelerating. This is basically right on this lip. In fact, we're going to take off, and we're going to try this again in a moment here. Just waiting for the retrograde flip to happen. There we go. And we will go ahead and put in some power here. This is a better landing location. I'm still not convinced by it. Let's just hold here. Thank you very much. Yeah, this should be reasonable. Yeah, looks good. Not my best landing, but nothing blew up, so all is well. Let's go ahead and deploy this drill, and this one here, and we will start up our radiators. There we go. And we will start our surface harvesters, just double checking that we're fine on our temperatures. Yup, all is according to plan. So there we go, and now we're going to hop on back to the space station core. We'll switch to that. Wonderful. And now, this is going to be a bit of a complicated maneuver, and I don't yet know how I'm going to do it. But we're going to go ahead and refill our monoprop here first, before we go. There we go. Don't need much of that. And we're going to undock this. And we are going to turn our RCS on and get ourselves a little bit of distance here. Perfect. And then, we need to find a way to get this thing to min-miss. Now, we need to consider that the fuel tug here, it doesn't have much in terms of comms range. So we need to get this done basically now. Now, this would fling us way out there, and I don't exactly want that. However, something along the lines of this might not be awful. So let's go ahead and go to that, and then as soon as we get this escape, we're going to plan our actual encounter, because we have to keep in mind, we are not going to have communications for too long. So that's something we need to consider here. So let's go ahead and get this burn done as soon as we can. This will be at T minus 9.5 seconds, which I've actually passed, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and make our way back to the prograde marker, and we'll burn this now. And we'll just get ourselves a bit of an escape velocity here. We can't really... Well, we could put up an encounter over here, like a maneuver, but we're going to be pretty locked with our input lock, because we're definitely going to have an issue here regarding our actual... Yeah, we're pretty far off on the inclination. Regarding our actual, concerned about going out to here and changing our ascending and descending node, because our communications range is going to be bad. So what if we did it over here instead? It's going to be really awkward, and we're not going to be able to get too far on it. In fact, we can't do it at all here. Yeah, I'm not super shocked by that. Guess we could just see about... If we did it here, we would want to make sure that we also got an encounter at the same time. So we could burn prograde and something... Ooh. That's an interesting burn there. That's a very interesting burn there. So then we would want to bring this in a little bit like this. Okay, this is looking really weird, but maybe a little retrograde here. Yes. This gets us relatively close-ish, but not tremendously close. But we have to figure this out now? Well, we can. So what is our current ascending and descending node here looking like? 3.1? Ah, I got rid of it. That was a mistake. I did not intend to do that. Okay, so let's just bring this down like this for now. Ooh, this is actually pretty good too. This is maybe even better. Let's see if we can't adjust that. We'll bring that down like this, and then maybe burn a little prograde at the same time, seeing if we can get ourselves a decent encounter here. That's not exactly decent. But we could push this out and maybe get ourselves something halfway decent here. Need to fix this. This is going to be a very difficult burn because of our communications issue. And I'm not super shocked by this, in all honesty. Ooh, this is looking potentially good here. I mean, this would eventually be an encounter, right? Eventually. The question is, how long would that take? How long indeed? I mean, we could do this and then see if we still have communications once we get out here. That's something we could do. We may or may not still have communications. Now, if we don't have communications, it's going to be awkward for sure, but we can try. We can just come on over to here and then warp to this. Okay. We're not going to have communications. That's okay. When we come back into the periapsis, we should have communications, and we should be able to do it then. Oh, right. We're not actually going to be able to lock to that node. That's going to be awkward. Well, the closest node that we can go to without communications is radial in. I guess that's what we'll do for now. And we'll just go ahead and burn this at T-minus 6 seconds. Like I said, this is the closest we can get for now, and then we will see about fixing this in a moment. This will definitely be awkward without communications, but we can make this work, and make it work relatively quickly as well. So we'll just get the radial portion of this burn done for now. Something along the lines of that. Now we're going to head over to anti-normal. And we're going to get the anti-normal portion of this burn done. Do want to... I wish this was broken down, but it's not. So we'll get that done. Something along the lines of that. And then I believe this is a prograde portion. Going to be close enough anyway. Okay, so let's do something along the lines of that. That's probably as good as we're going to get. Now, we can't delete this maneuver node because we are currently control locked. So that's awkward. And I really do wonder how long it'll be until we get an encounter here. Let's go ahead and warp up to here and see where Minmus will actually be. Although we're going to have to warp manually because we can only warp to next maneuver. And we can't get rid of this maneuver or add another one while control locked. So let's just go ahead. We do have a comsat at Minmus. But we should definitely consider putting a better antenna on things that are destined for Minmus. For sure. So we can see here, Minmus is pretty far out. That's okay. I think for now, this will eventually encounter Minmus. The question is, are we going to be looking at it when it does? That is the question, isn't it? We got pretty close there, and we're going to come around here. No probe control right now at all. Because I didn't deploy the photovoltaic panels. I'm a moron. This actually was deployed before I had the save issue, and that would have been why I forgot to do that. So because it was deployed in the previous episode, I'm going to feel completely okay with enabling infinite electricity and deploying these. And then unenabling that, because that was something that I did remember to do in the previous flight, and it was the only reason I forgot to do that was because I had to resend this up off camera. I didn't like close them or anything. These can't be closed, in fact. So yeah, they were definitely open before, and that was entirely my own fault. So at this point, this will eventually interact. Eventually. And the question is, how long will that take? Let's head back to the Space Center. I don't think we can actually see the Pachconics from the Space Center, can we? It'd be interesting if we could do the mission planning for things like this from the Space Center, but not from the spacecraft. That'd be a nice little change, but unfortunately, I don't believe that's something that we can currently do. So if we open up our fuel tug here, we can see there's this maneuver that actually needs to be removed, but we can't do that currently. And yeah, I think it's fine. We'll just leave this as is. It will eventually connect up, and when it does, then we'll just keep checking into it over time. And we'll just send up our station core for right now, I think. So let's go ahead and open up the VAB. And actually, I don't believe we have a station core right now. Yeah, it was replaced accidentally by the science module. That's correct. Okay, so we're going to make ourselves one, and that's going to use a cupola module. Like so. And then we're going to have on here a hitchhiker storage container, which is passenger module here. We want this guy right there. Perfect. And then I'm going to put on here something along the lines of, well, we do need a reaction wheel on this, for sure. A reaction wheel would be good, so we'll put a reaction wheel like that. Okay? And we will need some form of electricity storage. So a big old 2.5K rechargeable battery bank would be nice. Is there even a bigger one? Not that we currently have unlocked anyway. Maybe we should actually have these be side-mounted. Maybe not. We could, I suppose, put a 2.5K, like, there. That could work. And then we could have something along the lines of... What do we even have on that other one? Is that just a single Jumbo 64 like this? I think it is. I think this is the space station core for the other one, or largely. We do have a couple of Gigantors on there, I believe, and we should definitely still have those. We'll put them, like, here, where they can helpfully block some of the view out of the storage container. Perfect. And then I'm going to put in... I'm actually going to do the docking ports a little bit differently for this one. I'm going to do... There's our coupling. There it is. I'm going to do docking ports in quad coupling, and I'm going to put them here as well as up. Actually, I'm going to do here. Something along the lines of that. Okay, now we're definitely going to need an engine here. And we are, of course, going to put in a poodle for this. That's the obvious choice for this. There we go. And then, after that, we're going to need a decoupler. So we'll put in a TD25 right there. And then we'll need a lift module here. So we will just put in a pair of Jumbo 64s with a mainsail. And let's look at what we actually have in terms of our thrust to weight. 1.17, so we're going to have to heavy lift this or cut the fuel in this tank, and I don't want to cut this fuel. We know that we can heavy lift this without any issues. So we're going to go ahead and put in our tail fins here. We know that we're going to need quad-coupled tail fins, so we'll put those there for now. This is a pretty tall module. We may need additional ones up here. We'll look at that in a moment. We're going to put in our radial decouplers, these guys, and we're going to put them in right here. I'm going to quad heavy lift this guy. And then we're going to put in our Pollux solid fuel boosters right here, and we'll just move those right on down like this. We're going to need the whole structure to move down a bit, so we shall do that. Down to somewhere around here. No, a little further. About here is about where I want them. Perfect. And then we'll put some aerodynamics on these. There we go. And then we'll strut this all up. Like, not like that. We'll strut this all up like that will work. And then we'll do one up here. I would love to attach this in up here, but I don't think that's going to be the goal. I think we're going to look to strut it in there. That should do the trick. Let's look at our thrust to weight. 1.86, that should be plenty. Sounds good to me. This should be structurally sound. What about our aerodynamics? I'm concerned about our aerodynamics for sure. Yeah, our aerodynamics are definitely a big concern right now. So I'm going to put in another set of aeroplane tail fins right there. And that should give us the aerodynamic control that we need, I believe. I'm a little bit concerned about this joint, but I don't think it's going to be an issue, ultimately. So who do we want to man this station? Well, We should probably actually hire additional Kerbals. And we'll call this the Brazil Space Station Core. There we go. We'll save that. Yes, it already exists. We will overwrite that happily. Because we accidentally overwrote that previously. So we should definitely hire a few new Kerbals here. I want a pilot. And I want probably a couple of scientists. So let's hire this scientist, this pilot, and this scientist. Nope, we don't have the funds. Right. Yeah, that'll be okay. That'll be okay. We can send Bob up there. We're going to need more scientists eventually, but we do have our 2 scientists up at the current Brazil Space Station Core, and we're a little low on funds. We should definitely consider that. Orbital station on a solar orbit. That's actually something we are going to do. We'll take that. We'll get the advance. Fine. Okay. With that, we could hire in another scientist, but I think I'll hold off on that for now. We'll just bring the 2 scientists that we have right now. And if we need them for something else, we can just go grab them from these stations. They'll be fine. We're not going to have Jebediah pilot this. We're going to have Kendard pilot this. And then we're going to have Bob and Lelock in these seats. We'll have these 2 be empty seats, and that will be absolutely fine. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to send up this space station core, and we're going to see if we can find ourselves an opportunity. Hang on a moment. I don't have the communications that I was talking about on this. Let's put in the RA-15. There we go. And we'll send up our science module separately. Fantastic. So we'll do something like that, and I'm a little bit concerned about not having a fairing here, to be sure. I mean, we could put in something more like a communitron. That actually might not be a terrible idea. Something that we can deploy. And we could just mount that in, like, right there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode we'll send this to Minmus and see about bringing that fuel tug into Minmus as well. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.